Hello and welcome. We are Mike and Heather and we own a 2013 Ford Transit Connect that we converted into a camper van. Now, one of the things that we are wanting to upgrade on our van are our side mirrors. So we have the American model that has the smaller side mirrors, but we're going to fix that today thanks to you all who told us that the UK version of our van actually has larger windows.
We built out the back obviously and have made some adjustments to some of the things inside, but this is our first time installing new parts ourselves. We've watched a YouTube video. Hopefully that's going to prepared us enough to do this on our own, but we're going to make sure that we document this really well in case any one of you are looking to make a similar change to yours.
What he's trying to say is that we're a little bit nervous about this project, but we watched a YouTube video, so how hard could it be?
Okay. With the Ford Transit Connect, there aren't the best sightlines because you don't have windows, at least in our model, on either of the cargo doors or in the back. So all you have is being able to look out the window and then these small mirrors which have a very small blind spot mirror within them. We were interested in upgrading those to something larger, and we did see that the UK model did have a larger side mirror, so we started looking into that, and eventually, if I can get this out, found some that we could buy on eBay to have shipped over. There we go. Okay. When you compare these, even just side by side, you can see that you have a lot more for the blind spot and a pretty equal amount of space for the mirror itself. So we're really excited to upgrade from these to this UK model. You can see that there's a difference in orientation, but if you look, they're not really that different in actual size. The orientation though is a lot better for the sightlines that we're hoping to get, because this just hasn't been offering us the visibility that we would prefer with not having the sightlines out the windows. So being able to have this type of view I think is going to be a lot better. To do that, we now open this up and here's the hard part. This panel is actually going to be coming out in order to get to the electrical connection for the mirror, which is housed behind here. So we have some screws that are along the sides here and one behind the door handle in here, and then we actually have the screws that are holding the mirror in place over here. We're going to start by taking all of these off, and to do that you actually need a star bit attachment so that you can get into these, and then this one is just like a simple one from a socket set. It is a little bit intimidating to be pulling stuff out. I mean, we're just unscrewing stuff and putting it back together, so it's not unbelievably difficult.
Fingers crossed.
There's actually a few screws on the door panel that are hidden that you have to remove before you can actually take this piece off. There are a couple behind this piece of the door, and then inside here there's a little bit of a circle that you actually have to pop a cap off with. So I got a really small flathead that should be able to get this piece out. Heather's much more dexterous than I am, so she was actually able to get that little piece out.
I'm not putting them in my pocket, so hopefully I don't lose any of this.
And then you can see right in there is another one of those little screws, and then we just have to figure this part out. If you need, I can put my fingernails into it to like, oh, you got it. Good job. That's why you're the boss. Hang on.
Don't celebrate yet.
And yep. Teamwork.
There we go.
Cool.
It's really dirty like everything else in our van.
Yeah. All right. So now we just got those three to remove. We are good to go. Okay.
It'll just slide off right around the handle.
Oh. Okay. And then we got these two hidden back here. Is this gonna reach? So for this lower one, you definitely are gonna need an extension on the socket to be able to get to, and actually probably all of these hidden ones would be useful. So now you just have to pop off the door panel. Oh, there it is. Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Okay. And now the task is to unhook
the wire, which is up here.
Yeah, we didn't think, are the plugs going to be the
Yeah, they
same?
look like they will be, hopefully.
So we managed to get the door off and get to the spot where we would plug in our new mirrors, but the plug for the US version is not the same as the UK version for the actual dial mechanism, so I don't know if we can use this. It looks like there's a spot where it should be, but it must be like the US one blocks that off, and I'm imagining in the UK the square one is blocked off. One is a square and one is a circle. Not sure if that makes a whole lot of sense, but basically we might have to buy another part to be able to do this because I don't know if that's gonna plug into the US version of the dial.
We'll play with this a little bit, see what we can figure out, and like Heather said, if we have to order an additional part, that's not too big a deal.
Yeah, we're figuring all this out as we go.
And so what we're going to do is at least get the new mirrors mounted. They don't need to plug in, we can still kind of reach out and adjust things manually. For now, we're just gonna finish installing the new mirrors and then we'll go from there.
I'm taking pictures to send to my dad, see if he can finagle anything. Other than that, we'll just have to keep an eye online for maybe an adapter piece of some sorts, but until then, we'll just adjust them manually and we're still gonna go ahead with our plan of installing them today.
The mirror itself is actually on with these 3 bolts over here. So I have a 9/32 socket and just gonna take these off from here. So that's out. Actually, watch this not be a problem at all, actually. You're gonna find something right behind those. Here to this, right?
Oh.
You feel me pulling? You're pulling on the mirror. So that has to come out and the other one plugs in there, not into there. So, okay.
So it turns out it's not the wrong piece, we're just really dumb.
I wouldn't even say dumb. I think we just didn't know any better and we hadn't gotten this far in. So there was a piece connected to the door panel that controlled the mirrors. That piece actually didn't need to get disconnected. It turns out we disconnected it, which allowed us to get to everything behind the door a lot more easily. So I think that wasn't the wrong move. Our mistake was thinking that that's where the mirror connected into, and that's not the case. So the thing we just pulled out is actually where our new mirror is going to plug in, and it looks like it might be the same thing.
So basically, we thought that the square plug, the one that went into the mechanism, was actually the part of the mirror, but it's not. The part of the mirror is the correct one with that circular one, so it's not that the UK version is any different. It's just that we weren't looking in the right area to be able to plug that in.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna pull that piece out. So that's gonna come out from here. Okay, so this is the old mirror that has this as the plug to connect into the electrical system in the car.
And this is the new mirror that also has the same plug. So I'm sure there's plenty of you guys being like, duh, but again, this is the first time we're doing anything like this. So when we saw that part, we thought that that was the mirror, that was this long part, but we're very happy that we were wrong.
Yeah, okay.
Texted my dad, never mind, we're just dumb, we figured it out.
This piece is gonna go back into here, Heather. So that little push pin one goes in up there. Okay, and then we just gotta put the bolts back in and we're good to go. It looks good, it fits good.
Don't jinx it.
We've got the new plug for the mirror fed through. So we got this piece plugged back in here. There's a little clip that it goes over. So that's all mounted in okay. Heather got this out without it breaking, which is really cool. And so you can see those fit back in here. And if I break this when I put it in, I'm gonna be really upset. I think that's in okay. So that's remounted. All in all, I think if we would have just proceeded with the mirrors and not thought that we were off base when we got to this point, we wouldn't have had as much hassle with it, but it really wasn't something that was beyond our skill, and that is like a 0 on a 1 to 10 of car knowledge. That's not true. We probably are a little bit better than a 0, but we're not car people by any means. This wasn't that labor intensive. You probably do need some specialized tools like the star bit in order to get the panel off, but aside from that, it really was pretty straightforward.
Getting the door off was a lot easier than we thought. We just got kind of tripped up in the detail section thinking that that was the plug because we kind of panicked as soon as we saw that and didn't realize that there's a plug inside the door that the mirror actually goes into and that this has nothing to do with the mirror itself other than the control. So don't make our mistake. It's actually a super simple process, and now that we know it, we're gonna just streamline it for the other side and hopefully show you in a little bit more detail now that we've figured out what we actually have to do.
So far, so good. This just sits right back over the door, like the ledge. And that goes there, and then I think it should just pop back.
So now that we mostly know what we're doing, we can actually give it to you in steps this time. So step 1, remove the door. What is this called?
I've been calling it a panel. In the video we watched, someone called it a...
Isn't that cap? Door cap?
No, did he say door cap? What did he say?
Okay. Remember when I said we mostly know what we're doing? We don't know what any of these parts are called, but step 1 of of
changing your mirrors.
yeah, step 1 of changing your mirrors, remove this big plastic door panel.
I think he called it
piece.
a card. So we're calling it a door panel. I think in the video we saw, they called it a card. So either way, this plastic piece
Yes.
comes off.
So there's going to be 9 screws around the outer section, and then 3 in the middle. 1 in your lever handle, and then 2 in the stationary handle.
And we're removing those with a T20 star bit.
So there's a circle tab there, and then this whole panel comes off, and then you'll be able to get to the 1 screw in here and then the 2 in here.
We had this really thin flathead kind of screwdriver. I think something that would work on maybe your eyeglasses or something along that line for how small it is to be able to fit behind here and pop that loose. There it is. There we go. On this piece, there's actually a little opening on the bottom of it that you can actually feed another small screwdriver through, and it'll help push this away. And then you can just kind of get underneath this to pry it free. You can see the edges start to kind of come up. There we go. Okay. So then this piece comes off. There's little lips that'll keep it in place. And then there are 2 screws on either end through here.
So we have all 9 screws gone from around the door, as well as the 3 in the middle. So now we're gonna pop it off starting at the bottom, because this top part sits over on kind of like a ledge, so you wanna pull it from the bottom and then up. So that way you're not breaking the ledge part of the door.
We'll just kind of pull away from here. And then as we do that, it'll pop.
First, take off this little part.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
It slides off, so slides off pretty easy.
From around the door.
That way it doesn't go flying.
There we go. Okay. And then this one actually doesn't have any of the wires because there's not a control on this side to connect to. All we're going to have to do over here is get back into the plug for the mirror, and that's it. But this panel just comes right off.
So if we would have started on this side, we wouldn't have had that whole freak out earlier, because we would have realized that all we would need to do is plug it in to the right there and not have gotten thrown off by the square plug. Step 2. Locate the actual plug that your side mirror is going to plug into. So we just peeled back this protective layer real quick, and then now you can see that there's a little hole that you'll be able to stick your hand into.
Yep.
And then this is actually where the plug sits, so you'll have to poke this out to get to the plug.
Gently try and push these back through without breaking them.
Because that's what's holding in the little mechanism that you plug the thing into. So you have to pull that out to be able to plug in the new one. Okay.
I don't think it broke. Good.
Cool.
So this is the piece that stays in, and this is, you can follow it back up to the mirror, the piece that we're going to remove. And for that, there's just a push on the back, and that lets you kind of wiggle it free. We can just now loosen the mirror up, pull this out, and we're good to go.
Step 3 is now to unscrew the bolts for the actual mirror itself. That way we can remove that and then attach the new one. So,
yep.
Moving right along here.
Yeah. So in here, there are 3 bolts and then just a little push pin cover. This just pops in as a seal. But there's 3 bolts on this side, and then there's a plastic push pin on the other. The new one comes with a push pin, so you don't have to worry about it kind of coming free. You can really just focus on getting it loosened and off. Okay.
There we go. Step 3 complete. Step 4, attach your new mirror.
So it actually has a specific area that it feeds through, that square space, and that feeds through, and then...
Oh, gotta undo this clip so we can put this clip back in. Hold, please.
Okay.
Okay, so now that that plug is removed, we're gonna put in the new plastic one. So I'm just gonna pop that in. Make sure that all these are lined up as well. Okay. All right, so you don't actually need 2 people to do it, but it's easier when you hold it in, so that way when Mike's screwing on the other side, they're getting as tight as a fit as possible.
All right, and then just put that little plug back in up at the top, and it's now mounted. So I guess that would be moving to step 5, are we on? Connecting in the electrical. So you got this plug, which is from the mirror, and then you have the receiver, and these 2 pieces line up so that it'll clip in. There's not anything on the other side, so there's not really a way to make a mistake on that. And then you just push it, that'll clip over. And then these come back up here. There it is. Okay. And then these just plug back in and you're good to go. This sits back over. We'll put some tape on that and they're now installed.
Step, what number are we on?
6.
6. Put the door back together. So what we're gonna do is just line up this top lip because it'll slide into this section here and pop it back in. There we go. And now we just have to put all 9 screws back around the outside and then the 3 in here. And we'll be able to try out and see if our mirrors actually work.
So that is the panel mounted back onto the door. The mirror is plugged in, it's attached, it's anchored. So the only thing left to do with this project is to start the car up and see if the electrical controls make the mirrors function. Success!
Wait, now I have to see the other one.
I'll go check the other one out. Yeah! Yes!
I like them a lot better. Just looking out of them now, you can see a lot more behind you. So I would say that's a success. And I'm excited that we did it ourselves, especially because at the beginning of the day, we totally didn't know what was going on because of the plug threw us way off. But I'm happy that we just kind of pressed on and found our little mistake and were able to do this. I think we just got in our own way at the beginning. But yeah, it's not difficult at all to change the mirrors on your Ford Transit Connect. All in all, it's a very successful day. I'm very excited to have our new mirrors and it just makes me that much more excited to go out there and hit the road again.
Like always, if you have any questions, we'll try and put some information in the description. We just found these on eBay in searching, but maybe we'll put what they were listed under in the description. So if you're interested and you have a Ford Transit Connect and want to switch mirrors, you can do that a little bit easier. There's not anything else you need other than the mirror. Don't make the same mistake we did. This was something that we've been wanting to do for a while. It was on our list of things that we didn't love about our van or van build. So to actually correct something from that list is just really cool and exciting.
And just makes us love our van that much more.
We are going to continue doing a few minor tweaks and stuff with the van in the coming weeks, and hopefully we'll be getting back on the road soon.
Yeah.
But until then, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.